The action at the Beijing Winter Olympics gets underway today amid fears athletes will be punished for staging protests, anger over the reliance on man-made snow, and warnings of government snooping. While the Games officially launch on Friday with the opening ceremony, the sport starts later on Wednesday with mixed doubles curling. But Beijing's flagship event has been overshadowed by diplomatic boycotts and concerns about human rights and COVID, and the CCP's scramble to limit cases. Last month, China warned Olympic athletes heading to the Winter Games that they would be punished if they stage any form of anti-Beijing protest. The warning shot was fired by Yang Shu, Deputy Director General of Beijing 2022's International Relations Department, who was asked to comment on concerns for competitors who speak out about rights issues. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, has been criticized for allowing China to host the Games amid ongoing reports of human rights abuses against minority groups, in particular the Uyghur Muslims. Added to the controversy are fears for the safety of tennis player Peng Shuai, warnings about snooping by the Chinese government, and the environmental impact of the Winter Olympics, which will rely almost entirely on man-made snow. China has been keen to stress that its capital will make Olympic history, becoming the first city to host both a summer and winter games, and saying the games will be safe and splendid. Beginning its journey to the Bird's Nest Stadium for the opening ceremony, a low-key torch relay got going under blue skies despite earlier warnings about pollution. One of the torch-bearers was Chief Abao, a People's Liberation Army (PLA) regiment commander who was injured while fighting in a border skirmish with India, state newspaper The Global Times reported. If the 2008 Summer Games were the country's coming-out party, these Olympics will take place in a China under President Xi Jinping, which is increasingly belligerent on the global stage and boasting the world's second-largest economy. When Washington said it would stage a diplomatic boycott because of rights concerns, with Australia, Britain and Canada among those following suit, China warned the United States would pay the price. The Biden administration will not send diplomatic or official representation over what it called China's ongoing genocide and crimes against humanity against Muslim Uyghurs in the region of Xinjiang. In December, a London tribunal found that China subjected Uyghur Muslims to genocide through forced sterilizations and abortions, authorized by Beijing's highest officials. China denies allegations of human rights abuses. Athletes of the boycotting countries will compete at the Games, which run until February 20th. But a U.S. rights monitor sounded the alarm this week over athletes' safety after the hosts threatened punishment for anti-Beijing comments. The Congressional Executive Commission on China, a group of Washington lawmakers and White House officials, asked U.S. Olympics authorities for an urgent effort to protect their stars if they speak out. There are other controversies. IOC President Thomas Bach says that while in Beijing he will meet Peng, a Grand Slam winning tennis player who alleged in November that she had been sexually assaulted by a former vice premier. Peng was not heard from for nearly 3 weeks, only to reappear, but there are concerns about how free she really is. Fearing surveillance, some Western nations have told their athletes to leave their personal devices at home and use temporary burner phones. There are signs that China is tightening the noose on anyone daring to spoil the party, with human rights activists and some academics having their WeChat messaging app accounts restricted in recent weeks. Then there is the coronavirus. Last summer's pandemic-delayed Tokyo Olympics were in a bubble to thwart the virus, but it was more relaxed than the no-nonsense system in place in Beijing. China, where the coronavirus emerged towards the end of 2019, has pursued a zero-COVID policy nationwide and is taking the same approach at the Olympics by cocooning all participants inside a closed loop. The highly infectious Omicron variant presents a new challenge, both to the Games and the country, putting already jittery authorities further on edge. Cases in Beijing have been ticking upwards, albeit from a low base number. Organizers say they expect cases in the bubble. Nearly 250 have already been recorded, but their goal is to keep the spread to a minimum. They hope the bubble will be impregnable, keeping the nearly 3,000 athletes together with tens of thousands of support staff, volunteers and media cut off from the outside world. China barred overseas spectators because of the pandemic, but there will be a limited number of spectators and organizers say the venues could be up to 50% full. The Games will be held in 3 zones and make use of new venues and some from 2008, including the distinctive Bird's Nest. In addition to downtown Beijing, the 2 other areas are outside the capital and will rely on artificial snow to cover what would otherwise be brown mountainsides.